that you are all doing well. Thank you so much for joining me here today, where we are going to have some fun in the kitchen. So sandwiches are a food that I've always enjoyed, but when we took our trip to Paris, we had the best sandwiches ever. And so we're going to bring some of our French experience back here and talk a little bit about making some refreshing sandwiches. And I always start off with a baguette. You can cut them into pieces or you can cut them in slices. We're going to do the slicing method today. As I said, I like to use a baguette. I'm going to cut it into slices, and I like to cut it on an angle just to give a bigger surface area. You could instead just cut off a chunk, cut it down the center, and make a sandwich that was closed. I'm going to do some open-faced sandwiches today. And I'm going to cut the bread the whole way so we can just get started making our sandwiches. For this first one, we're going to go with what I would call a classic. So I've got green onions, a cucumber, and a very special ingredient. I have one of the English cucumbers. I like those for sandwiches. They slice nicely. And they have less seeds than a regular garden variety cucumbers here in the US. So I'm just going to take one of the cucumber slices and set it down there. I'm going to take 2 green onions, cut those into little rounds. I like green onions because they don't seem to have the strong flavor that onions have. Although a nice onion sliced thinly, either yellow or red, would be delicious on this too. Now the secret ingredient that I promised you is lox. So if you're unfamiliar with lox, it's just thin sliced smoked salmon. I find it so delicious. So we've got the cucumber sliced down there. I like to just fold the lox over like that. Gonna quick wash my hands. So you'll notice that I moved the vegetables out of the way. That is because I didn't want the fish, the lox, to contaminate the vegetables. So now I'm going to, I put the lox back in the refrigerator. I'm going to just take a couple onion slices and put them on top of my sandwich. And there is the first sandwich. I'm going to go wash my hands one more time. Another piece of bread. The second sandwich is fabulous on a summer day. It's even better if you have really good tomatoes. Mine is a bushel boy. I am going to slice the top off. And then I'm going to thin slice a couple slices here. In my opinion, the thinner the better. But I am going to do 2 slices of tomato on the sandwich. I'm going to add a slice of cucumber and a couple more onions. And that is our second sandwich. And the thing you'll notice about these sandwiches is they're really simple, but they're so delicious. As long as you're using fresh ingredients, everything is wonderful. You'll also notice that I haven't used any condiments. You can take that mayonnaise we made a few weeks ago and use that on the tomato cucumber sandwich. On the lox sandwich, cream cheese is so delicious. If you can't have dairy, you can get replacements for that. We're going to do something a little different with this one. So we are going to have an apple slice on our sandwich. So I'm just going to slice in this direction. So let's slice thinly the apple. And with the apple, I like to have a contrasting flavor. I've got a Granny Smith apple. It's a little more tart than some other apples. So to partner with that, I have a little bit of Pecorino Romano cheese. It's a sheep milk cheese. Just going to take a slice, lay it on top. One more slice, lay that on top as well. There are 3 of our sandwiches. We're going to do one more. So this one is going to be a vegetable sandwich. And I really like roasted vegetable sandwiches. But I'm going to contrast that a little bit with some lettuce. So I have a bag of mixed spring greens, and I'm just going to layer them on the bread. Again, you can use mayonnaise on this if you want. I'm just kind of going plain here. In the oven, I have some zucchini that I'm roasting. And I usually go with a 20-minute roast. This was only 10 minutes, so it's a little less roasty toasty. I also had some mushrooms the other day that I needed to get out of the refrigerator. I roasted those up and just saved them in a little Pyrex container. And once again, because I really like green onions on my sandwiches, we're going to add a green onion. Or a few slices. Let me move this out of the way. So, there are our 4 sandwiches we made. The apple and Pecorino Romano, the tomato, cucumber, and green onion, the roasted vegetables with lettuce, and the lox with cucumber and onion. I'm going to start having them now. And since they're made with fresh ingredients, they are a little healthier than if you just bought lunch meat and put it on your sandwich. I hope that you enjoyed this refreshing take on sandwiches, and I hope you'll give them a try for lunch or even as a snack. So just remember, good bread, fresh vegetables, fresh ingredients will make your sandwich experience so much better. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll be back again soon with more Explore and Create. And we will also have more books and poetry coming up. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you'll join me next time. And now I'm going to have some lunch. That's just so good with the contrast of the smokiness and the lox and the crisp, fresh taste of the cucumber and a little bite from the onions and the fresh, delicious bread. Thank you.